From where I'm sitting, I certainly don't think so. It does not make sense to me that you are sitting in a government of national unity that you are not very happy with, but the intention of you sitting in this government of national unity are to put South Africa first. And the national dialogue that we talk about, the main purposes of this dialogue are really to deal about the crisis in South Africa that talks to unemployment, to issues of gender violence and insecurity, that talks to a number of other things that are not happening right in the country. So in one hand, you are saying that you are staying here because you want to make this country work. When there is a conversation to get all stakeholders, everyone in South Africa, and their hands on the deck to ensure that South Africa works, you're saying you are pulling out from that one. So for me, that is a bit of a challenge.
Is there something, Prof, that is not being said here? Because to their point, yes, there have been transgressions in the cabinet of President Cyril Ramaphosa. An unsanctioned trip to the United States surely can't be, for lack of a better word, the worst sin that has been committed by cabinet ministers or deputy ministers. What is not being said about the axing of Andrew Whitfield?
Certainly, I think from one's point of view, there must be a lot that has been happening in the background, or that is suspected in the background to be happening, that we are not told of. Because you would see that this transgression is less than other transgressions that we've heard of within this current administration. So one, for the president to take this drastic action for a transgression that one feel it is less severe than ministers being accused and the brandishment of evidence of corruption, and a person just being sacked for not getting permission to travel. It is, of course, important that people get permission, and the president is to account on the movement, the activities of the executive, including deputy ministers. But I think there are other means that could have been taken, or rather than sacking the person, to deal with the situation. So there might be a lot that we don't know in the background that might be happening. It might be that the relationship between the president and the said individual, the deputy minister, has broken in such a way that the president does not feel that this particular individual should be in the cabinet. But I don't think it would be only because of this trip that has happened a few months ago, for that matter.
Because as per the statement of intent, that the president says that they are still entitled to a deputy minister, so they must forward another name. Could they, as you put it, the fallout be really between the president and the former deputy minister, Andrew Whitfield himself, and that relationship is irreconcilable?
It certainly points to that. It certainly points to that. It certainly could also point to that this particular deputy minister, because of his involvement in the department, there might be things that are negatively impacting on government or on the processes that president is trying to put in place, and therefore feels that this particular individual should not continue serving in that role. But you would remember that we have a situation that is really not a normal situation. We have a government of national unity that is informed by parties because of the votes, and the apportion of seats was informed by that. So when you take out an executive member from the DA, be it a minister or deputy minister, the expectation is therefore that they should then appoint a replacement as the party that is holding that seat. So I'm not surprised that that happens. But what I'm surprised about is the fact that the person is fired for this transgression, which I think is less severe than others.
Prof, I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming on. Governance Analyst, Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu there. On the announcement by the Democratic Alliance, they are pulling out of the national dialogue, lobbying civil society to vote against that, particularly the money that is to be used for that. And they will not be supporting particular departmental budgets. Coming out of that briefing.